Hello! This camera to make sure that I am even in the shot. I think I just about am. I hope you've all had a really, really good day. Again, there has been a whole slew of stories and different news that I want to go through. Let me just make sure this camera is... There we go. Is it on? There we go. I do hope notifications are going out because I did post quite a few videos yesterday, and I did try today to kind of make this video that I'm making now earlier on the new Steps of Sussex channel, but it seems like even though I've got over 1,000 subscribers, it hasn't actually registered and processed with YouTube yet. So I'm still at the moment unable to do a live chat on that channel. So go over there, subscribe, because as soon as I am able, I will be starting to post lots of little stories about what's been going on, lots of updates over on that channel. So be prepared because the updates are coming. Right, the first thing I'm going to do is go over to the chat room and see who is here. So, like I say, I'm hoping notifications are going out. I think they are because we have over 206 people watching live already. So, hello, and wherever you are in the world, I hope you've had a really, really good day. Right, so I have a whole load of stories, and it's inevitable that I have probably missed something somewhere. So if I have missed something in the chat room, do let me know. And if I see your comment, I will, of course, comment on it. So I'm going to touch briefly on Oprah Winfrey denying a tell-all interview. I'm going to be discussing how the Queen addressed the Sussexes in her statement by calling them Harry and Meghan. Prince William has gone back to work, and the other royals have, well, some of the other royals, Camilla and Princess Anne. There's the news, the detail that Meghan was not on the phone, on Skype, or any kind of conference call during the so-called hashtag Sandringham summit that took place yesterday. And also Justin Trudeau has kind of made comments on security. So those are a few issues that I'm going to touch on today on my list. So yes, anything that I've missed, do kind of let me know. But I'm going to go through my list first, and then I'll take lots and lots of comments. So Oprah, there has been much talk in the press that the Sussexes were trying to blackmail the royal family by saying that if they didn't get what they wanted, there would be the fear of a no-holds-barred, tell-all interview with somebody like Oprah. Now, Oprah has come to the Sussexes' defence on this one, and through her people, she has actually issued a denial that there have been any talks relating to a tell-all interview from the Sussexes. So we can put that one to rest. I think that obviously was a big lie and a big rumour being put out there in the press. I don't think the Sussexes were trying to blackmail the royal family into getting what they wanted. I don't think they needed to. So yeah, Oprah Winfrey has come out and denied a tell-all interview. Let's just see what people are saying about that already. Okay, nothing on that one, so I'm going to move on rather swiftly because I want to keep this kind of brief. The next one was the Queen calling the Sussexes Harry and Meghan in her statement yesterday. So we've all seen the statement, we've all read it. I made a video going through it. I spoke about it yesterday, but the one thing that I probably didn't touch on as much was the form of address that the Queen used to obviously address the Sussexes. So she referred to them as Harry and Meghan. Then later on, in a different paragraph, she referred to them as the Sussexes. Now, as is usual in royal communications, normally if a member of the royal family is addressing another member of the royal family, they will typically use titles, and that is incredibly true of the Queen. The Queen will always address royals by their titles. So the fact that she called them Harry and Meghan led lots of speculation over the future of their titles. Now, although we don't know actual details on this, the palace has not confirmed or denied anything about titles. I will give my opinion on this issue. So, lots of people have commented that when Prince Andrew withdrew from royal duty, the Queen was acting very much as Queen, as head of state, as monarch. She was not being mum. She was being Queen. She was, she was being official. That said, with Harry and Meghan, the tone of that statement was very, very different. It was family orientated. I think she used the word family, was it about 8 times in the statement? I think she was using Harry and Meghan to convey that she was a grandmother. This time, she was not being Queen as such. I mean, obviously she's the Queen, but she wasn't being Queen. At first and foremost, she was being a grandmother. She was talking about my family. She was talking about Harry and Meghan as individuals, not titles. Then later on, she referred to them as Sussexes, the Sussexes. So I don't think that statement, the word usage, was anything other than the Queen just conveying that she's a grandmother and that this is the way that she's looking at the whole situation through a grandmother's eyes. She said that she was incredibly sad, and she indicated that it wasn't what the royal family wanted, but that she was being accommodating, and allowing them to forge a new life and a new role, although we don't have the details on that. So that's kind of just my opinion on that. Again, we don't know. It could transpire that they may have to give up titles, but in terms of that actual statement, I don't think it was a clue as to where the direction is going. I think she was just being human. She was being a grandmother, and that's kind of what I think on that one. Now I'm going to move on to the Meghan not being on the phone or Skype or a conference call. So there was wide media speculation that Meghan was going to somehow be on the phone, be under some kind of conference call, Skype, WhatsApp, that kind of thing, actually in the Sandringham summit talks. Now, it's been confirmed that did not happen. So I think it actually came from Harry and Meghan's people, and I think the palace has also confirmed as well. But no, Meghan was not there on the other end of a phone line. She wasn't there on Skype. She wasn't WhatsApp. She wasn't conference called in. The royal family felt like there was not that wasn't necessary. Also, there was a big security risk as well, that somehow the telephone call could be, tapped, recorded, intercepted, all those different sorts of things. So that did not happen. She was not there as part of the actual discussions. It was only the Queen, William, Charles, and Harry, and obviously some of the aides as well, some of the palace aides and representatives. So no, it was not. She wasn't there in any capacity. However, I most definitely think that she would have had lots of long conversations, thoughtful, deep conversations with Harry about what to discuss, what to discuss from their angle. So I am perfectly sure that Meghan was very well represented in that talk. We have had also a bit of a conflicting story about Justin Trudeau, the Canadian Prime Minister, who initially, I think, indicated that there would be no problem with the Canadians, with Canada paying for Harry and Meghan's security whilst being in Canada. Then I think it was yesterday, he actually, or maybe was it today? I'm getting mixed up on days, but he backtracked a little bit and said, he didn't say no, but he didn't say yes. He kind of backtracked and said that it needs a bit more working out. So again, we still don't know any issues surrounding security whilst they are in Canada. It's also understood and believed, I'm just trying to remember all these stories, that Meghan has and Harry have had their dogs flown over already to Canada. Now that indicates very, very strongly that they are most definitely going to make their main base overseas, whether it be Canada or whether it be the USA. If the dogs are gone, that kind of indicates that they are not going to be back anytime soon in any kind of permanent capacity. I would also say that that would hint at maybe not even spending 6 months of the year in the UK, 6 months of the year in Canada. It would indicate to me a vast proportion of their time would be spent in Canada, seeing as they've moved the dogs. I think Harry may come over maybe a little bit more. Meghan may come. I think it's been mentioned that she may make extended trips over to the UK, but it definitely looks like the relocation has begun in earnest, and that the UK is unlikely to be their primary base going forward. Now, I think oh yeah, I haven't quite finished my list. William has gone back to work. Prince William's back to work. He has been doing an investiture on behalf of the Queen. So a lot of the other senior royals deputise for the Queen when it comes to doing investitures. So William has been at Buckingham Palace today doing lots of investitures. Also, Duchess Camilla, the Duchess of Cornwall, is back to work, and she presided over a rather weird engagement today where she basically presented Princess Anne with an honorary degree. So I made a video that I posted prior to this one about all of that, so do go and take a look. Tim says, so will Meghan come back to the UK at all? Who knows? I mean, the one thing I would say is at the moment we haven't had any mention of the patronages. So we know that the Queen passed on to her the patronage of the Royal Theatre, the National Theatre, sorry. There is also lots of other charities and organisations that Meghan is involved with, so I would imagine that she would still keep those links, probably regardless of kind of what happens, you know, what's worked out. I imagine that I would tentatively say that she would keep those links, so you probably have to come back and visit to kind of touch base physically. I mean, obviously you can do online conversations, you can Skype, but to actually be at an engagement with those organisations, she would have to come back and touch base at some point. But certainly, probably in the near future, I mean, who knows? It's probably looking unlikely, but who knows what's going on at the moment. Reverend Darlene says, I saw your video regarding Princess Royal. It was great. Thank you very much. The big wheels, the mechanism of monarchy continues. It never stops. Regardless of what goes on, it never stops. Tammy says, what's really sad is Princess Diana's HRH was taken away and she was no longer part of the royal family. She went off and did her own programmes and charities, and still the press hounded her. Well, yes, that's true. The problem with Princess Diana is obviously what happened to her, in the respect that we didn't get to see how a model, how a life of, you know, non-HRH title, divorced from the royal family, but still maybe actively serving your nation. We still didn't see how that played out because it ended so catastrophically. And I think the royal family have not forgotten the lessons of Diana. I don't think they are going to want... they're not going to want the Sussexes not to have the security. But like I've said in earlier videos, it's got to be squared off with the British people. The British people's support of the monarchy is very nuanced. It's a fine line. It's an unwritten rule of support. You know, extreme privilege, extreme wealth in exchange for duty and commitment to the UK and the British people. We still don't know how that is. It needs to be squared off somehow. A happy medium needs to be found, and at the moment I don't know what model that is going to look like. Also, I'm just thinking back to all the stories that I've heard today. It was reported that Harry arrived the first to the Sandringham summit, where he had some alone time with the Queen. Then Charles came, and William came, I think, about 15 minutes prior to the beginning of the Sandringham summit. And I think William was the last to leave as well. There was a huge. The private quarters of Sandringham were actually closed off even to staff, so there couldn't be any prying eyes or ears, and they really did have this conversation together. It was a family issue. So the Queen was, totally real and honest in her statement. It was my family, Harry and Meghan. She was being a grandmother in all of this. Bad says the UK media is a liar. Harry is a strong man. They want Harry to be weak, but Harry is going to show the media how strong he is when he starts setting everything up. I've heard similar things that you've been talking about. I've watched lots of people coming on the TV who, claim to have known Harry in the past, or to have worked with Harry, or been on tours with Harry. Lots of photographers or royal biographers that have worked. And a lot of people have been saying that Harry is a very charismatic, man. He's very strong outwardly. He's a character. He has a good sense of humour, but beneath the surface, there is a vulnerability that obviously stems from what happened to his mother. I don't know if that's true. I haven't met Prince Harry. I haven't worked with him. I haven't had, a sense of what might be lying under any surface. So can neither confirm nor deny any of that. But I've heard what you've commented on. A lot of people have been commenting on that, and indeed any mental health issues that could be going on. So yes, that has been a talk in the media, on TV, in print, with royal reporters, with photographers, with people that know the family. That is something that has been spoken about and broached a lot in the media recently. Unique K says, I noticed that the media again is still trying to twist the Queen's statement. Gosh, they just won't let up. Again, it was a very nuanced statement, family orientated. It didn't give much away, but yet it was designed to show support, but also to show sadness, also to show the Queen being a grandmother, it being a family issue, and that there were still matters to work out. Nothing is sealed. The deal is not sealed. And don't let anyone tell you any different until we hear actual details coming out. The deal is not done. Thank you to the moderators who have been trying their best to moderate all the comments. I know we have 888 people watching right now, so it's a big feat to help keep everything under control. It's a very, very fast moving chat going on right now. Aprile says, I think you are amazing and I just love the respect in which you speak about all the royals. Thank you so much. By the way, I watched today on Good Morning Britain, the one with Piers Morgan, and he had quite a big panel on, and there was a huge debate. In fact, it overran the time. Ken Wharf was there, Diana's former bodyguard, former bodyguard. That does him a disservice. My goodness, I need to spank myself. He was the former Royal Protection Officer, so he was giving his view. I mean, it is a real talking point. That debate that I watched got fairly heated, as it would. There was a lady, and I forgot her name. There was a lady representing the anti-press feeling with the approach of the British media, with the racial issues and the bullying. There was a royal biographer, I think it was Prince Harry's biographer, there was a huge representation of people, and it was a big debate going on. And yeah, pretty much based on not that much information that we have available to us at the moment. Bev says Piers Morgan is not that important. He needs to go somewhere and sit down. Andrea says, I just feel so bad for the Queen. I think most people feel just sad. I mean, if you're like me, if you're a royalist, if you are in support of the monarchy, you will probably feel, like I do, that this is not good for the monarchy. This is not what the monarchy wanted for itself. The palace has expressed time and time again that Harry and Meghan were in the key circle of the future of the royal family. That Charles, although it's widely anticipated that he wants a slimmed down monarchy, that did not extend to Harry and Meghan. They were handed really meaty Commonwealth roles. They were being given patronages that the Queen has held for many, many decades. They were bestowed a lot of things to set them up for the future of the royal family, the future of the Commonwealth, the future of the monarchy. They were not being sidelined. They were most definitely included in Prince Charles's plans. So if you're like me and you support the monarchy, it's sad. It's really, really sad that it's come to this. It's not what I want. It's not what the monarchy wants. But it is important to note it's what Harry and Meghan want. And just as much as I would love to have them remain in the family, I also don't want them to be unhappy. And I don't think the royal family do either. Just as much as just as how valuable they are to the royal family, it's also not valuable to have someone to keep somebody against their will in the royal family if they don't want to be there. They will always be members of the family. They will always be part of the family, just the same way that Zara and Peter are. Even though they don't have titles and they don't work for the royal family, they're not full-time working royals. They'll always be a part of the family, but it is a really, really sad loss. But it's what they want, and some kind of compromise has got to be reached. Mo Vo says the Queen should have spoken up for them, so she's suffering the consequences of her silence. I've said time and time again, it's very, very difficult for the Queen to try to kind of, tell the press what to do. It doesn't work. I mean, it just doesn't. You can't tell a free press, even though they say horrible things about lots of people most of the time. You just can't be in a position of trying to control what the press say about you as a member of the royal family. And that's another part of Harry and Meghan's statement of intent that may not work out. They do want to control who's in there, who's reporting, what's being said about them. That's not been tried before. Will it work? Will it not work? It looks like we will probably find out very, very soon. Zitzi says, Meghan and Harry, they make you people money, and they've been cash cows. Well, I would agree. I mean, for a lot of the media outlets, they have been, the golden cow that keeps on giving. So I would kind of agree with your comment right there. Adele says, where do you find two siblings in a family that are the same? Oh, most siblings are different. I haven't got any siblings, but I know people that have, and more often than not, there are more differences than enough. Right, now, unless I've literally majorly... Oh, I'll just touch on a few things that obviously still need to be sorted out. So, we still need information to come out on titles, on the roles, on how much or how little work they're going to do on behalf of the country and nation and the Queen. There's the issues of tax, there's the issues of funding, and commerce. So, how Harry and Meghan are going to be financially independent, how they're going to make that money, how they're going to square it off against accusations of using their position. Again, we wait to see. Issues about Frogmore Cottage, will they still be able to use it? Will they have to pay rent? Security issues are still ongoing as well. So these are all details that we are waiting to find out information on. Right, I am going to go now. We have 913 people in the chat room watching live. So hello, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for making it through. Go on over to Steps of Sussex and subscribe. As soon as I am able to start live streaming on that channel, I will. I will also put the link to that channel in the description box, so you can join. And like I say, as soon as I'm able to, I will start going live on there. So if you've enjoyed this video and it's helped you make sense a little bit more of what's going on, please give a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to share on social media, and also do hit that bell so that you know whenever I upload a new video. Also, a big thank you to the moderators who have been working really hard to try and keep this chat under control, because it's been very fast moving. So from me in Shropshire, still trying to make sense of it all, mwah to you all, and good night.